Okay. All right, you gotta love technology. All right, so says I'm live. Says I'm live over here. As you pop on here, let me know if I'm live. If I'm live. If you see me. What a sweet group. Y'all are so sweet. Those of you that are maybe watching this later, we lost connection with everybody. All right. Give you my fingers crossed. All right, I'm gonna just a minute. I want to see if y'all come on here. Jean, does it look like we're live? I think I see somebody. If you pop on here, say, hey, you see me? Dora, do you see me? Hey, Amy. Okay, I guess that's a good thing. All right. All right, so I'm gonna give it just a minute. So now it's like my group that we were all just watching and we were going how to create the art. I can see you. Yay! Good deal. All right, so thank you for your patience, and I apologize for the technology issues. The good thing about it is it allows me, the app that we have that we're using, it's called StreamYard, and it allows me to be able to go across a whole lot of different social media platforms. The bad thing is if there's an issue with it, then you lose me altogether. All right, so we'll have that there. So anyway, hopefully all of the folks that we were just on here together seeing each other will pop back on here. Uh, and then if you're watching this later, my name is Amy Howard, and I am part of a maker studio. I'm the mother maker here at a maker studio, and we are launching four amazing brand new stencils today. And I have been showing you guys one of the stencils that I absolutely love. And it is part of the reason why I created it was to be able to have it to where you could recreate yourself 18th and 19th century art, to be able to have in your home, to be able to frame, and to be able to watercolor. And so the cool thing about it, and being able to cut out these individual flowers, I want you to be able to see this because the detail is really quite fabulous. All right. So can you see from the stencil and what I did with the art right beside one another? Does that help? So it literally is like watercoloring. It allows you to be able to have great detail. It looks like it's been printed, which would have been done in the 18th and 19th century in that art. Yes, good deal. All right, Pam. All right, Gretchen. Hey, good. I know, it's like my heart just sinks when stuff like that happens. It's like, heaven help us. All right, so I wanted you to be able to see this. The guys are going to be popping on here later, and you'll be seeing this. So that way, when you come back, you lay the stencil down. I use just regular art paper. I'm going to go on and put this down so that way you can see it. So for those of you that are maybe just watching now because we lost connection, if you use the code today, new designs 20, all caps, and it's plural, new designs 20, it allows you to get 20% off on the brand new stencils that are launching today, as well as all of the products that I'm using. All right, so I'm going to turn this down and share the video. Share this video, tag your good friends, and that way your name will go in for a drawing. We're going to be giving away some free stuff that I'm showing you today. All right, so I'm going to go on and put this down again where we can get started. So what I was doing, I was showing you how when I have worked with my flower stencil, I'll come back and I'll mix colors. Very rarely do I use them straight out of the tube. But what a lot of people don't realize, our art inks are super, super, super to make t-shirts, to make tea towels, to make all kinds of fabrics. That's what the ink was intended for. But a lot of people don't realize you can thin it down quite a bit with water and make it into these glazes or like watercolor. And so after I do the first pass and I do the black ink straight, this basically creates a framework for me to be able to come back and to watercolor my color inside the flower. And the other reason why I did this stencil like this is I wanted you to have really large designs because I wanted them to be able to be framed individually. And they're fantastic for that. Here's one that I had done like this, that I finished it. And then I've also got one in a frame. Jean, can you hand me that frame again? Let me just show them. But I do want you to think about doing a series of maybe 6 or 9 of these. No, the one in the mat. Um, did you give it back? Awesome. So this is one that I had done, and allows you to be able to see if you do them like the 8.5 by 11, you could have a series and frame them where you've got a whole grouping of them, which makes it really impactful in your house. It's really, really pretty that way. All right, so the next project I want to show you, and I had so much fun doing this. I want you to see the detail on that. So, so pretty. All right, so the next stencil that I've got that I absolutely love in our brand new collection is called Cheerio. And it's kind of an ode to London. It's got the Big Ben, your bicycles, the chapels, the bikes. You think about being able to ride around and do that. And if anybody has been to London, or you're a royal follower, this is a great stencil to have. I like using it on home decor items. I'm a Paper Source gal. I love going in places like Paper Source, and they have so many cute, iconic things, whether they're mugs or artwork or, too, you think about if you get leather bound books, or if you're a planner, if you like to get your booklets, it's fun to be able to customize the outside of it, which I think this would be adorable to be able to have maybe a journal, a prayer journal, or a calendar journal that you have, and do and decorate the outside of it as we're getting ready for the new year. This is absolutely darling. But I want to show you what I did, and I had the best time with it. I made a card. So we do have these on a Maker Studio. And part of why I like them, one, when I give a gift, or if I go to somebody's house, I want to be able to have it to where I can give them a card that they know it's from me. Have you ever gone to, oh, I love that, Dora. She, would she not love you? Oh my gosh, how fun. She would love you to make her a mug. You could use a ceramic paint. There's so many cute things that you could do with this. Or you can make her a card. I'm going to show you what I'm going to do. I absolutely had the best time. All right, so now I am going to cut out this bicycle. I want to show you how you can do this with the cards. I don't know about y'all, but cards have just gone through the roof. They're so expensive, and especially like a Caprice. Um, if you love those really cute shops that have the really high-end cards, what I'm going to show you how to do today, they're astronomical. They're so expensive. This is going to be so fun, and then that way you can do this and use these to be able to send to people. So now, as a rule, we usually use them horizontal or landscape, and then that way we open them up and then write our note inside. But I want to show you something a little different. I'm going to turn it more vertical because I love the idea that I'm going to show you. And I'm going to remove the backing from the stencil. It's adhesive if you're not familiar with our stencils. And I'm going to place it at the bottom of my card. You're going to know why in just a minute. All right, so now I'm going to come back. I'm going to use my chocolate. The chocolate is Can't Never Could. It's a really pretty chocolate. I've got a little bit of black in here, but I'm going to go in and pop that chocolate. No, I take that back. It's Will I Swanee. Can't Never Could is my black. All right, so I'm going to use Will I Swanee. This is a little bit of a chocolate color. It's really, really dark. I'm going to load my brush up. And I'm just going to press this through the stencil. The mesh, the area that's white, if you've not worked with these before. Uh-oh, I had a little snafu right there. Now, sometimes I will use a spreader, and I should have because I just got that messed up. But I'll show you how I fix that when that happens. That's the beauty of doing live, is it not? Guys, as you pop on, just tell me hello. Tell me where you're tuning in from. And I'm curious what the weather is like, the temperature. It is still pretty warm, but we're getting a little bit of a cold front here in Florida. All right, so now I'm going to pop that in my water. And I'm going to, sometimes I told Jean I will keep some crafting tweezers because I like being able to pull the edge of my stencil, and I want to pull this back so that way you can see. So that way you see my little bicycle. Now, what I'm going to do, I want to show you, this is such a fun idea. I don't know if you remember last week, we had just introduced some of our fall flowers. I want to bring those over here. These flowers I use in resin. Look at this. I use them in resin and all kinds of different projects, but I thought, what a cute idea to be able to have the flowers coming out of the basket on my bicycle. So I've got my size. This is what I'm working with. I'm going to show you a project that we are going to be doing some gilding. But I'm going to take my size. This is for my gold leaf as a rule, but you can use it with these flowers. And I'm going to put just a little dot or two right here about the size of the flower that I'm going to place. And what happens, the size will come to tag. You want to allow it to sit for just a minute. You can blow on it if you want to, and you'll have tack for about 5 or 6 minutes. And now I'm going to take some of my fall flowers. These are on a Maker Studio. These are absolutely darling because I love the fact that they are very fallish. And again, it would be good if you had some tweezers. I've got a little bit of static electricity going on here. So I'm going to place this right here. These have been dried. Look at the, can you see the detail on this? It's absolutely precious. These have been dried. And the colors and everything are so beautiful. And I don't know if you've ever gotten a card that had real flowers on it, but they are very much on trend. I will see them at Caprice. And these, when you see cards like this, they're very, very expensive. So without spending too much time, I wanted to be able to show you what I did earlier. What do you think? Is this not the cutest card to give someone? You think about happy fall. If you wanted to, I left some negative space here that I thought, wouldn't it be fun just to be able to like write whatever it is when you make your cards? What is it that you're wanting to be able to tell your friend? Like, you know, I miss you, or I missed your birthday, or come see me, or whatever. That's the beautiful part about customizing a card. Like, you know, Dora, you might even say, well, you're, you know, since your daughter's back from London, it's like, so glad you're home, or welcome home, or whatever. But this makes such an adorable card that way you can write a beautiful little note in it. And I had so much fun with that. So this is the bicycle from the Cheerio stencil that we have that you can get 20% off today. All you have to do is take advantage of the code new stencils, all caps, 20, and you'll get 20% off. So that was a fun little project I did with that stencil. The other thing is, and I'll set this aside. Love that. Isn't like that the cutest thing you've ever seen? The other thing is, don't forget, especially if you love things that deal with London, or I do, which there are a lot of folks that are Francophiles and they're royal watchers. You can use our ceramic paint and use it for decanters, glass, things like this, especially decorative objects. You can use it to be able to go in and customize your platters, your charcuterie boards. But I just used the black ceramic paint and my stencil to be able to put London Bridge on this decanter. And I thought that was so cute. All right, so the next stencil that we've got that I want to be able to show you is our peacock. Now, again, these are really large stencils in this launch that we've got today. And I shared earlier before we lost connection is the fact that we love really creating beautiful designs that are very elegant, that are very much on trend, interior design trends. And so that way, interior design trends are going to permeate over into the crafting world. And so we really like to take crafting more elevated, so that way you can create things in your home that are quite beautiful. Now, I will tell you, peacocks are very much on trend. You know, years ago, like gnomes were really big. Gnomes really have never gone out of style. Mushrooms have their heyday going on right now as well. But classical flowers from 18th and 19th century, but peacocks are really, really big. I want you to look at the detail in this peacock and his feathers. They're absolutely exquisite. Now, what we have done, we've done a beautiful job, I believe, on the composition of this stencil, that if you wanted to be able to use it on a lumbar pillow, you totally could, and it would be so fun and so easy. But I want to show you something else, and this is something that I tell you guys every time with our stencils, to be sure and think about using it in a section. You don't have to use the whole stencil, while sometimes it's great because this would be a beautiful piece of art. But it's also fun to be able to create a block of something that you would want to be able to frame. So there is a gal, you can look her up later. Don't look her up now, but her name is Ashley Longworth. And she does peacocks she paints them on top of, what's the gal's name? Audrey Hepburn's head. Mm-hmm. She will literally paint a portrait like of Audrey Hepburn, and she'll put peacocks on her head, and she'll do beading, and she'll paint it on top of gold leaf. So I wanted to be able to show you what that looked like. So this is what I had done earlier, and I want you to look at the composition. This is just a block that I gilded in gold. And I came back on top of it. I laid my stencil down and I just used the black ink. Look at this. Look at the detail on that. Isn't that spectacular? Now, I want to be able to show you, because this is a really fun project that you can do yourself. And it's going to be as simple as you can take a block of wood. Now, what I normally suggest, if you're going to gild something, try not to get pine wood. This is actually pine, but a lot of times the grain is so high in it, you want to make sure to maybe paint it with some one step or sand it down so where you don't have a really high grain. And then you're going to come back with our size with the Maker Studio, and you're basically just going to brush it over the whole board like this. Now, I've done one just a little bit before we went live. Sometimes you may actually, if you're working with raw wood, you may want to be able to put 2 coats on it where it doesn't absorb too much into the raw wood. But I have one here that I painted with the one step. And then I used a sponge brush, and I want you to see, it's got a little bit, can you see that sheen with it? So what it is, the size will come to what we call a tack, T-A-C-K. And when I touch it with my ring finger, I can tell that it's still got some adhesion. Now it's perfect for me to be able to put my gold leaf on top of it. So now this is the gold leaf that we have here at a Maker Studio. This is also 20% off today. You can take advantage of that. And when you open it up, it comes in this hard envelope like this because it allows you to be able to have a book. It's got a spine with it. And I can turn the pages, and in between each tissue is a sheet of gold like this. And it allows you to be able to create a really beautiful background to be able to put the design on. So What I want you to see is that you can really create some beautiful art like this. You don't have to use the entire stencil, and you see the composition of how absolutely exquisite this can be. All right, so now I'm just wanting to show you this. I'm going to hold this with the spine here, the whole book, and I'm going to lay it down. And as I lay it down, I'm going to pull that tissue out, and then I'm going to burnish it. So I've got the entire book here, and I'm pressing this into place. Look at that. See how easy that is? So now I'm going to pull this back. Got the air going just a little. I got to deal with the air. I'm going to overlap it. See how I pulled that tissue out? I'm overlapping it and burnish it before you lift it up. So see where that last piece was, how I overlapped it about 2+ inches. That way I don't ever want to butt them up. You always overlap. Let's go on and just lay that sheet down there. Guys, as you pop on here, please tell me hello. Tell me where you're tuning in from. And take advantage of the fact that when we do these launches, if you share this video and tag some good friends, then your name goes in for a drawing, and we're going to be giving away free stuff, and I'm going to pay to ship it to you. All right, so now, last but not least, let's lay one more sheet down. If you have a smaller section and you don't want to use the whole sheet, you can absolutely do that. All right, so now I'm going to come back with a chip brush, and I will usually go in the direction where this last sheet was, how that was laid on, and I'm going to go this direction because I want it to burnish. And watch what will start to happen. See how it will curl up? It will curl up and then fall off, and then I've got a beautiful solid sheet of gold. Now, after I feel like I've gotten it burnished, I can just kind of come back this way and clean it up. And so what that allows, I'm going to go on and move this off. What that allows me to do is I've got this beautiful background that I am going to do my peacock on top of. So all I did, and now here's the caveat. Make sure that you let your gold leaf dry for about 4 or 5 days. I want the leaf to really cure on your board, and that's going to act as a framework for you to be able to lay this gorgeous piece of art on top of it. So all I did was I laid my adhesive stencil down. I did my black ink on top of it. And now here's something that I want you to be able to take to the next level. I would love, and I don't have them here, but I want to come back in and I want to start hand painting some of the detail on my peacock. But you know what else I want to do? I want to come back and put beads. I want to go get some green and blue and gold beads. And I'm going to bead this up on here because I think that really is part of the inspiration that I get from Ashley Longworth and her artwork that she will do. And her artwork sells for $15,000, $20,000 a piece. So she will paint on top of a gilded board just like this. So that way you could take this block and you could literally put it in an acrylic frame and frame it, and it will look absolutely spectacular. So the other thing is that I don't want you to lose out on is the fact that you can also come back and you can do the same thing like we did to our artwork. You can paint on top of it as well. So I can mix up a little bit of my ink. I've got a little bit of my green. Now, again, I don't know if we had some technical difficulties earlier, and I very rarely will use the colors straight out of the tube. When I am wanting to be able to just kind of mute them up like this, I mixed my green with a little bit of the brown ink. I'm going to add just a little bit of water. And you can use little ceramic dishes like this that I'll get at the Dollar Tree. So I'm blending that color in really well. Let me turn this down just a little bit more so you can see me. That kind of helps, doesn't it? Because that way, when you're painting on top of leaf, it can be a little bit more washy. So let's say, let's just pretend this is a flower leaf. I would imagine this, if I was doing this, I would probably do this more in a really rich pinky rose color, but because I've got green here, I'm just gonna go on and go with it. So I want you to see, as far as painting on top of the gold, just like I would if I was like doing a coloring book, I'm just going to start to come in and lay my color inside of the black ink. And the fun thing to me, because of Mr. Peacock, you can make it very vibrant. You can go into greens, blues, your whites. It's going to show up so beautiful on here. But gilding this board first, and you can just, you can get fragments of boards. Sometimes I go to Home Depot and I just get, they sell cut boards already. If you've got a husband or a friend that's a woodworker, they will do cuts for you. And to be able to just gild them, you saw how easy it was. And that gold leaf, being able to gild them, just makes for just a really beautiful ground to be able to come back and do your artwork on. And especially the peacock, he's so elegant. I think the composition and the flowers are so pretty. It's going to make a beautiful piece of art. All right, so another thing I want to be able to show you, the last stencil that I haven't shown you as far as the different projects that you can do, is our bunny. Our running bunny. Bunnies are not for just Easter. I want y'all to know that. Bunnies are great all year long. And what I love about this stencil, this new design, one, it's a huge stencil. But then the other thing is, I want you to see these darling little flowers. The flowers, the tulips, the butterflies. I'm weird. I love bugs. Who else out there loves bugs? So don't think about the bunny. Now, here is a mug that I did. Look at this. Don't think too that you've got to use the whole thing. I used, this is a mug. I actually really like this mug. I got this at the Dollar Tree. Wait, Dollar General, isn't it? It's not Dollar Tree. I got this at Dollar General, and I love it because it's got this beautiful matte finish to it. And when you're working with the ceramic paint and you're using it on your ceramic, this is my suggestion. I will put it on to my mug. I like the fact that this is a matte finish. I think it's really pretty, but also it allows my ink to go on here a lot easier. And then I allow it to set overnight. Then I'm going to put it on a baking sheet and I'm going to put it in the oven at 350 degrees for 35 minutes. And then I'm going to turn my oven off after 35 minutes and let it completely cool down to where I'm going to be able to try this. And so then I'll take it out and it's good to go. I hand wash it. I do not put it in the dishwasher. But it makes for a really beautiful decorative piece. So I thought it was fun just to be able to put my little bunny on my mug, but also I wanted to be able to show you more or less to think outside of the box as far as really creating really pretty cards. Now, this is a card again that we have at a maker studio. And look how I laid this out. And I'm just going to show you more for composition. It's so fun and so satisfying. So let me just show you what I'm talking about. So I'm going to go on and cut this tulip out. So don't look at the stencil necessarily. Can it be used altogether compositionally? Yes, totally it can. But what I would probably do is do a project with all of it together, and then that way go back and cut it up so that way you can use all the flowers and stuff to be able to create something totally different. I'm going to cut this flower out right here. Guys, as you pop on here, please tell me hello, where you're tuning in from, and be sure and share this video and tag some good friends because your name will go in for a drawing and we're going to be giving away product. We had a little bit of technical difficulties earlier today and it made it to where my video went a little bit longer, so I apologize for that. But I want you to see this bunny. I'm in love with this bunny. Bunnies are big, 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 big. All right, so What I want you to see is when you're laying it out on the card, take the adhesive off the back of the stencil like this, and just start to lay it in. You can see how I laid in for a composition. And then I also want you to start thinking about overlapping them. So when I laid down this flower, and I did it here, I made sure the base of that flower kind of went off my card. Then I came back in and I actually filled in the space with another flower, which I can do that one here. So you get my gist. I'm working more on a composition. See how I came here and off to the right and pulled that up? I'm not going to do that because I think the main thing is y'all know how to be able to use it. I wanted you to be able to see how pretty it was. The other thing is, believe it or not, being able to come back and hand color these as well is going to really allow you a lot of versatility, but also it's going to allow you to be able to hand color it and have some art that you can put in your home and frame it. Go to Target, get the frames. Now I'm going to do one of these because I want you to be able to see. So I'll go in with my brush. When I've got tight spaces, a lot of times I'll use a brush because it's hard for me to get my squeegee around. And I have no problem getting it to release and be clean. But here's the deal. Once you start doing this, and if you're working on a really large piece of art, just don't let this sit there too long. You need to remove it every time. That is a little flower right there, isn't it? All right. Well, the main thing is I want to take this up so that way you can see it. Look at that. So I'll work on my composition. I'll come around. I want to make sure it's all laid out and I'm really happy with how it looks. And that's what I did on this one. And then if I wanted to, I could do what I was sharing with you earlier, and I could come back and I could start hand coloring. Now, I will tell you, I think I shared this with y'all not too long ago. I invited some gals to the studio, and you know, when we've done this so much, and there's a lot of you that are watching, you think it's not any big deal. Yes, you enjoy it, but you're like, well, I've done this so much, it's really not that big of a deal. It's not too hard. But you forget about how satisfying this is. And so I brought them in here and I was showing them, and they were like, I don't know that I've had this much fun in a long, long time. That be able to be creative, to be able to laugh, just to be able to talk and visit allows us to be able to really connect. And when our hands are busy and when we're doing things, I think it really adds a lot of value. So I wanted you to just see, it's literally like, this is like a coloring book. Now, I will intentionally go outside of the line sometimes, not because I've got an attitude, but because if you look at hand colored imagery from the 18th and 19th century, when they did this, they would literally go through a printing process. They would lay down this first color, which is what we did with our black ink and our stencil, and then allow it to dry for 20 or 30 minutes, and then come back and hand color it in like this. So in that process of printing it, they would get some of them just off skew a little bit. So I will literally intentionally, let me show you what I'm talking about. I want to make sure that this is thin enough. I'll add just a little bit of water as it evaporates. I'm thinning this with water, and I'll use a little inexpensive plate that I got maybe from the Dollar Tree, and I'll just rinse this off with soap and water when I'm finished. All right, so let me show you what I'm talking about. So I'm going to do off register just a little bit like that. So it allows you to be able to see that it's been hand colored. Let's come outside the lines. Look at that. See what I'm saying? So sometimes you actually want to do this intentionally. It allows you to be able to show people that it's been hand done. And I just think it really makes it have a lot of detail and so pretty. So the other thing is, don't forget to sign your name to them. So I've got to come back on the little card that I did earlier. If you're just now popping on, I like being able to write something really pretty here, or use another stencil as far as what it is that I am sending you that card for, what I'm thinking about you. And then I'll always sign it at the bottom, kind of like I do on my artwork that I showed you earlier. I just think it really frames it in. It helps with the composition a little bit. Can you see that? Helps with the composition, and it lets the people know that you actually did it. So this was something else that I wanted you to see. This came from the bunny stencil that these did. So maybe if you saw the bunny stencil, your focus is on the bunny, but you're not realizing all the beautiful details that you can do in creating artwork, cards, really darling ceramic pieces like this. And then I'd gone to the Dollar General, and I will find these things. This is actually a frame, a picture will clip here, and it allowed me to be able to come back. I painted it with black one step, and I used my white ink because I'm going to use this as a stand to be able to put a little picture, and it's going to act as my picture frame for a little granddaughter that we've got coming in the 1st of December. So I wanted you to just see look at the detail on that. The markings and the detail and the flowers, it's absolutely exquisite. It makes it so fun and so easy. It's definitely a project that you can do to get a lot of satisfaction from. But when you look at the bunny stencil, I don't want you to think it's all about bunnies, because I literally cut up my flowers and I was able to create this one too. So just to kind of recap what we talked about today, we've got our brand new Cheerio stencil. I've kind of cut these up, but it's all about an ode to England. And we were able to create this darling little bicycle with my flowers, which I love, love, love. Do you not think that's the cutest thing ever? We've got our brand new peacock stencil that it allows you to be able to create a lot of detail. If you didn't get to see this video, go back. I show you how to gild this block of wood to act as a framework to be able to lay the detail of the peacock stencil that we're launching today on. That I think this is a beautiful piece of art. Would y'all not agree? So that way you can use the ink directly on top of gold leaf to be able to create really beautiful art. And then that way you can frame this in a shadow box acrylic frame that would be sensational. Lay this down on some cream linen. And then we've also got our flowers that are 18th and 19th century. This is very in right now. And the ability to have these really large flowers that you can go in and create a series of paintings that you can do and have in your home is going to be a lot of fun. So, love that. Isn't that beautiful? So anyway, I think you guys will see part of what really sets us apart here at a maker studio is that we spend a lot of time and effort in trying to create things that they're very classical in nature. They're something that you would see in a very elevated interior design shop. And then we're learning and doing skills of things that I believe are definitely something that you can enjoy the bragging rights with. So I hope that makes it a lot of fun. Let me see. Oh, I'm so sorry, Dora. Sometimes I wonder if a brush is better when there's a lot of detail. You know, a lot of times it really is going to depend on the size. Like if I'm laying a whole lot of things in together, like if I'm doing these flowers, hold on, let me show you. If I'm doing these flowers and I'm laying them all in and I'm creating a composition, the brush is easier for me because I'm able to kind of turn it and get it around all those little bitty details. But if I'm working on something like this, I like being able to use my squeegee, and that way I just pop that down and it's on top of that gold. And then that way allow the ink to dry and then go back in and start coloring on top of the gold leaf. I always use a brush. So I hope that helps. Hey, Mary Jo, you're my Florida neighbor. So I think you guys need to take advantage of our brand new launch today. We've got 4 stencils that are absolutely divine. They're not, I think they're very elevated. I think it's going to allow you an opportunity to make a lot of really beautiful things. And I can't wait to see what you do. So take advantage of the code. And then today it is new designs, plural, all caps, new designs 20. And we'll have everything that I showed you today, including the size and the gold leaf that you can get 20% off. Thank you, Dora. See, I say this and I felt so bad about having the technical difficulty earlier, but we have a beautiful tribe. We're all women from different mothers, and that we love creating and crafting. It's part of us loving on people, and that creativity that you have is a gift from God that really is part of you expressing your love for others and being able. I think that's why I love making things that I can give as gifts and decorating in my home. I think it makes it a lot more fun. I love you guys. Share this video, tag some good friends, and tell them, watch this. Let's get together. Let's do this. And your name will go in for a drawing that will be giving away product and we'll pay to ship it to you. But also take advantage of the new designs 20 code today and get these 20% off. Have a great day, everybody. Love you guys.